Your wife doesn't want sex and intimacy, so you need to change and meet her needs. She's addicted to her phone, so you need to be nicer to get her attention. She's cold and she shuts down on you when she's upset with you, so you need to work on your approach. So obviously, men, you are the problem, right? Wrong. Oh my goodness, wrong. I am Lindsay. This is Loving with Intention. Let's dive in so we can get to the bottom of this and I can really set you up for success in feeling way happier in your marriage, even if your wife does do all of those things I just said, or even one of them. So let's get to it right out the gates. In a marriage, you both have a role in your dynamic. And the truth is, you can't change your wife. You can't convince her to change. You can't make her change. But if you really want things to change, you can change how you show up. And that is the way to shift what's going on in your marriage. Loving with intention, ding, 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 ding already, means taking 100% personal responsibility for your side of the street. Not the whole dynamic in your marriage, just your stuff. So this means bringing in so much love and compassion as you get real with yourself about your unhealthy patterns, the ones that you bring to your marriage. We all have unhealthy patterns, which is actually good news because these are growth opportunities. So what does this actually look like? Let's make this actionable. We're going to look at those examples that I started with. Imagine you two get in a bit of an argument and she goes cold and she completely shuts down on you. How can you get compassionately curious about your role in this dynamic? Of course, that is hurtful. That's her unhealthy pattern, but we can't change her. So this is about accountability, not self-blame. So you're checking in. She shut down. Were you critical? Were you using words like you always or you never? Were you talking badly about her character, judging her? Was your tone really harsh? Did you raise your voice? Did you yell? Did you crack a joke that was passive-aggressive or laced with an insult? And when you're reflecting on a recent time that this happened, or you choose to get curious next time, maybe you come out stumped. You're like, I have no idea what I did, or even, I really don't think I did anything here. This could be an invitation to zoom out because these incidents, they don't just happen in a vacuum. So ask yourself, what was happening before this argument? Were you already frustrated? Was she frustrated? Have you been feeling disconnected? Was there any tension building throughout the day or the week? Has this been a similar pattern in the past? And what was your role previous times that it happened? All of these questions, again, ask them with so much love because they can give you insight into your growth opportunities. And of course, you working on your stuff, it doesn't automatically mean that her patterns are going to change. A marriage is like a dance, though. When you change your steps in the dance, you bring a different energy. This is you bringing a different energy. So the rhythm of the whole dance changes. You get to be the catalyst. If this was a video for your wife, I'd be inviting her to get curious about her role here and her own growth opportunities. Either person can dive in, and you can actually pop the word roadmap in the comments, and I'll share my free love journey roadmap with you. It will help you identify your unhealthy patterns, aka your growth opportunities, and it's going to help you start to shift them. So just comment roadmap below. So another example that I started with here is that your wife is often buried in her phone. She's scrolling, she's laughing at TikTok, she's playing games. It seems like she would rather have quality time with her screen than with you, and it hurts. When you're looking to keep your side of the street clean here, one thing you can do is reflect on how you show up. Are you present when you're together? Are you often buried in your phone? Have you been reaching out for connection in ways that she would love? Have you been really, listening and attentive when she's talking to you? So again, this isn't about blame. This is about looking at areas where you can empower yourself to really create change. And of course, you can talk to your wife about this. The key here is to talk to her from a place of seeking connection, not from a place of making her bad or wrong. That is part of keeping your side of the street clean. If you make a passive-aggressive comment, if you criticize her for being on her phone, if you blame her or shame her for being the one ruining your marriage, you're likely to wind up in that old familiar dance. So creating your new dance steps. That might sound like, I would love if we had a phone-free evening. We had a phone-free evening once a week, and we just do something that we really enjoy. Or I noticed that I've been feeling frustrated when you're on your phone a lot, but then I realized I'm on mine a lot too. It would be really nice to change that. I would love to hang out more. Or even, I've been thinking about more quality time together without our phones. Would you be into that? These things here, they can open the door to a loving conversation because you deserve love, connection, to feel seen, to feel important. And these kinds of approaches can support you in that. And These kinds of conversations, they tend to go better if you have a cushion of positive things that have happened recently, in that day, in that week. So this is yet another place where you can empower yourself to create change. Things like being really intentional with warm and loving hellos and goodbyes, speaking her love language, giving appreciation often and freely. When a person feels seen and loved, it's far easier to have these vulnerable conversations. And they really are potentially tender conversations. They might have a charge around them from the past. You could bring it up beautifully, and she could still get defensive or critical because her nervous system could feel like this is an attack, which is actually a really totally human response. I'm not excusing it. I'm just highlighting the truth here. So these are powerful moments to take a pause, take a deep breath, and double down on seeking connection. And that can be really freaking hard, and you're here to change patterns. If it does feel too hard and you just find yourself getting right back into your own reactions, this is exactly what I support my clients with, whether I'm working with them individually or as a couple. I get to be your accountability and your support, your number one cheerleader, your Lindsay in your back pocket to help you change these patterns. It is the best. And again, this isn't just about you, the husband, the man, being the one who has to triple down on showing up intentionally in your marriage. I could make this very same video for her. I'm just talking to you because you're here. And it's freaking amazing that you are. So the last example, that she's not interested in sex and intimacy, and you would love it, which makes all of the sense in the whole entire world, to start even having tender, compassionately curious conversations about what's potentially under her lack of desire. It is so important to be building the foundation in your marriage first. If you can't talk about things like her phone usage or yours without an argument, or you both tend to sweep things under the rug when hard things come up or big feelings come up, if she shares her feelings with you when she feels hurt and you think she's being too sensitive, then it's pretty likely that a conversation around sex isn't going to go smoothly. That's why it's so important to lean into building emotional safety for both of you. This is the road to even having conversations about sex and intimacy. When you lean in with love and start working on keeping your side of the street clean in general, even before a conversation about sex, she might start desiring intimacy again. I've had individual clients whose wives start coming closer because they start showing appreciation, they show extra care, patience, curiosity, and love. Not because they're the problem, but because they chose to go first in working on themselves. They chose to start changing their steps in the dance. So many clients, they see change in all sorts of areas really, really quickly. And for others, it takes longer. The change that they see, it might not be the change that they expected to see either. Sometimes it's in the little daily things first. Other times it's in when you show up in a hard conversation and you get to change your responses there. Whatever it is, it gets to keep coming back to you. And a little disclaimer, I want to be clear, none of what I'm sharing is saying that you just have to suck it up, tolerate it, deal with her hurtful patterns. That's where those connection-seeking conversations come in, when you can really share the impact of those things on you. And this is all really for the man who loves his wife and has a vision of how he'd love his marriage to be and wants to start taking steps in that direction without having to wait for the day when she says, hey, I want to work on my stuff. The truth is, the day she says that is likely to come a lot quicker when she sees you showing up in new, healthier ways, taking accountability, and clearly choosing new steps. You have so got this. So your intentional action for the week is to comment roadmap below so you can get my free love journey roadmap and dive right in. You will start by identifying your own growth opportunities, which is so powerful, and it will help you start to change those patterns into healthier ones. And that's just the beginning. Following the roadmap will also help you build the emotional safety. And if you've already got the roadmap, it is the perfect time to dig in again. You can also check out the video on the screen where I talk about the areas that I went all in on in focusing on me and changing my steps. So I shared those steps there. Thank you so much for being here. I am sending so much love into your day. Remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. So pop roadmap in the comments and let's have a super intentional week. Bye.